January is finally over, so that's 1 month down in my year-long no-buy. This is going to be the recap video about how it went, what I spent, what I can do better next time, what I did well this time, any troubles that I ran into, any curveballs that got thrown. And I don't feel entirely organized or prepared to make this video, but time is of the essence. So let's just jump in, and we're gonna start with reviewing the overall spending. So we didn't get to go over this final week yet of January, so I'm also gonna lump that in here. So we're just gonna recap weeks, and then we'll get to number 5, and I'll be more in depth about week number 5. So week 1 of January, I spent $111.64. Week 2, I spent $145.33. Week 3, $280.12. Week 4, $110.12. And week 5, $199.39. The spreadsheet that I use is something I made in Google Sheets for myself because I wanted something to be cute and easy and low pressure. So that's what this is to me. It is available for download if you also want it. But this week on Sunday, I spent $60. Monday, $36. Tuesday, $88. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, no spend days. Saturday, I spent $13.99. So not too bad. It was like a higher spend week than I expected, but not the highest that we've had. The highest I had was week 3. But everyone in my household was sick, so I needed to buy medicine. And if there's one thing I'm gonna splurge on, it's meds. It really is. I'm not taking any chances. So my total spent for January was $846.60. I didn't have any unexpected or impulse buys that took me out of my budget. That's usually what I count that as. I'm not going to count any discretionary spending just because that money, discretionary money, that's gone to me anyways. I can do whatever I want with that. I'm not concerned. What I would put in the unexpected/impulse category is if I had to pull from savings in a way that I didn't expect to have to. So, like safety net spending. So if I had to replace tires or anything like that, then I think that that's something that I would include in unexpected/impulse expenses. I did have a money win. I returned something that I had bought from Old Navy back in December. Just it wasn't what I was expecting it to be. I was gonna give it as a gift, and it's just the material wasn't quite right. So I got $27.69 back. And then planned expenses, I did include my Hourglass lippy that I love to use all the time because I refilled it, and I do set aside money for those as bills. Like makeup and skincare, I have a pretty good handle on what I need in terms of finances to pay for that stuff. So I just pulled from the skincare/makeup fund to pay for that. So it didn't really come out of my normal allowance. Honestly, I'm a bit conflicted about whether or not I want to include that in this spending tracker. You know what? I'm just gonna play that by ear. I didn't buy anything else for skincare or makeup this month, so there's nothing else to really throw into that ring as in terms of like having it be up for debate. We're gonna let it slide. We're gonna let it go. The one thing I do not include in these totals, and I do get questions about this, is what do I spend on bills? How much did I spend on bills? What I spend on bills is the same every single month. So I don't factor that into here because I am not actively having control over that. I'm not deciding to spend money on like Spotify every month actively. I don't like click the pay button and I don't go, well, I could be on Pandora for free, or I could do this free version of Spotify. So it counts as an expense, but it's an expense that I am not on the day-to-day making a decision about. Like I decide how I want to time getting gas in my car. I decide if I want to get takeout or if I want to get groceries. Like those are things that are within my control. So that's what I'm tracking. I'm tracking my own personal behavior. And if I do cancel a bill, so like let's say I decide to knock, okay, I've already talked about Spotify. What if I knock Spotify off the roster and I say, actually, I don't need Spotify anymore? Okay, well then that counts as a money win for this month because I decided to stop paying that bill. So I will count that as money wins, and I won't put it there every single month. So if I canceled it this month and it remained canceled for the next couple of months, I wouldn't consistently put that as a money win every single month. It would just count for the month that I canceled it in, if that makes sense. So overall, there were a couple of curveballs that popped up in January. For example, week 2, I ended up having to go to a funeral for a family member, and the dress code was wearing a Hawaiian print dress or jacket, and an alternative could have been wearing floral print. Now, my family on my mom's side, her dad, so like my grandpa on my mom's side of the family, he's from Hawaii, so his whole family's from Hawaii, like born and raised, historically like Hawaiian. And this family member who passed, they moved out to California as well. So the funeral was in California, but loads of family members from Hawaii had flown out for the funeral. So that explains why the dress code was to wear Hawaiian print. And I've never been to Hawaii. I want to go to Hawaii, but I've never been to Hawaii. My brother's gone several times. He and my sister-in-law brought me back a Hawaiian dress on their last trip, which was last year. And so I had this dress in my closet, and guess what? It was black with red Hawaiian flowers. It was something that could have incurred a unexpected purchase, and I would have listed it, but it's not something I would have felt bad about. So like if I had a funeral, for example, and I needed to buy a dress because I didn't have anything, because here's the thing, if I didn't have the Hawaiian dress, I don't have floral print items. That's not something that I just have on hand. I usually just go for solid prints. So I would have gone out and I would have bought a floral dress for his funeral, for this celebration of life. And I wouldn't have felt bad about that at all. At all. Because stuff pops up. I didn't want to put in my exception list, if goes to a funeral, if I have a funeral to go to, I can buy a new outfit for that. Like that just seems, does that not seem odd? That's like, I feel like some things are unspoken exceptions that we know, and we don't need to verbalize that. We don't need to speak it into existence. So this would have been an example of that. The next thing that happened was everybody getting sick. Luckily, I did have discretionary fund money to cover that. I have a savings goal in Cube Money that I use to set aside money for medical stuff specifically, just because I know that if I'm getting sick, I'm spending heck of money. I am dropping loads of dough on making myself feel better. So I have that cube, and it's called the medicine cabinet. And I think that's so adorable. One of the most common things I see when people do a no-buy is they have a list of rules, but they do not have like a list of a spending budget. And that's something that I personally do not do well in, because I will overspend in the categories that are available to me. So instead I do a combination of having the rules of, hey, these are the problem areas. So like hard no on the clothes, hard no on the shoes. But other than that, I just have spending limits. So just classic budgeting of every single week. I give myself $85 for food, $65 for transportation, and up to $50 for discretionary spending. And the discretionary spending does count for things like the medicine, and does count for things like eyeglass wipes, which I did purchase these microfiber eyeglass towels from Norwex because those are my favorite, and I lost mine. And it's been lost for 2 weeks, and I keep hoping that it's going to show up, and it doesn't. And I'll tell you what, my eyeglasses are not in a good state. They are not looking well. And I've tried using the wet ones, the wipies, but I don't love that. My favorite thing to use for my glasses specifically are this lens cleaner from Boots in England. I just like, the Boots is the pharmacy, the chemist, quote unquote, in the UK. So when I visit my husband, I pick up the Boots lens cleaner. And these little packages come with eyeglass cleaners as well. And that's the one that I had been using, but it's gone. I don't know if I put it through the wash and it's in a pocket of one of my jackets or sweatshirts or whatever, and I'm just gonna reach in my pocket one day and go, oh, there you are, but it's gone. I don't know where she is. So I like the Boots lens cleaner, and I love the eyeglass microfiber towels from Norwex. Those are the Norwex microfiber towels are like unmatched in my experience. And I've tried a lot of different things for my eyeglasses. They're a bit expensive. It's literally everything from Norwex is expensive, but some of their stuff is really, really worth it. And the lens cleaners are, I did buy the kid size lens cleaners. They were on sale for $10 each. That's not a great sale. I could get a lens wipe from Target for probably $2, and it'll be crap. It won't be good. I mean, it might be good for your glasses, but every time I try and use it, it's just not right. It smudges everything around. It doesn't quite work for me. So I just stuck with what I prefer the most. I bought 2 of these. One of them, I think I'm going to keep in a safe place. I'm going to keep in my safe keep box. And the other one, I'm going to pretty much carry around with me the way I did the one that I lost. And I'm just not going to lose it this time. I think the key is I have to keep it in my purse. I have to take it out, use it, put it in my purse. I can't take it out, use it, and put it in my pocket, or set it aside and then tell myself I'll go back for it later and then I'll put it in my purse. It just has to go directly back into my purse. That's the goal anyway. So the combination of having the rules and having the spending limit makes me feel like this is a really, really sustainable system. Because before, I had the weekly allowance. So I had the limit on $85 for food, $65 for transportation, and up to $50 for discretionary spending every single week. And then I had side buckets. So I said, okay, well, I got paid for my side hustle, Now I'm gonna set aside $30, 30% of that for spending. I'm gonna set aside 50% of it for spending. Like, I'm gonna spend this one on XYZ because I want to. And so it was just more fluid, and I was operating outside of the spending bounds. So the additional rules give me little safety rails. They give me bumpers that I can bounce off of, that kind of just protects me from myself. The only thing that I would buy if I could. Actually, the list is pretty long. I have a wish list going right now. And most of this stuff were things that I already wanted to buy, like before we entered the new year. And I just did not buy them before I started my no buy. I was like, listen, I made it this far without it. I don't need to panic buy it right before I start my no buy. I'm just gonna put it on my wish list, and then if I still want these in 2026, or maybe for Christmas, or maybe my birthday, or whatever, then people I know and love can refer to my list, or, you know, I can just get it for myself next year. It is not a huge deal. So, on that note, if you are doing a no buy, I think it is really useful to have a wish list. Some of the stuff though, some of the stuff I look at and I go, oh no, you're on sale. You're gonna sell out pretty soon. So here's my current wish list. Number 1, I really want the Space Dice Squared Bra from Beyond Yoga. I already have this in black, and I have the matching shorts, and I wear it to Pilates, and every time I wear it to Pilates, I think, dang, I wish I had this in more colors. I can't believe I didn't buy all those other sets before now. But here's the thing. Usually if I buy a set and I think, you know what, I'm probably gonna love it, I'm gonna buy more, then I don't like it that much. It was like a waste. So it was a good thing that I waited, but now I'm really scared that they're gonna sell out because right now they're on sale. Actually, I haven't even checked on this to see if it's still available. Let me look at that right now. Oh, it's still there. It's still on sale. This is killing me. No, they're sold out of the small and the purple. What about the brown? They still have the brown, or birch heather as it's called. What else? They have white. I'm wary of white. I'm like, is that see-through or is it not see-through? You can tell me. I would like, I think I have black charcoal. Do I have black or black charcoal? I think I have normal black. So, or darkest night. Okay, if I could buy it right now, I'd get black charcoal and birch heather. Birch heather is on sale for $23. I actually need to get out of here. I actually need to leave immediately. Not because I'm in danger of buying it, just because it makes me sad to see it and not be able to buy it. Okay, the next thing I want is this what's it called? Concealer from Haus Labs by Lady Gaga. I tried it on in Sephora, and it is good. It is, it's nice. And I already have a concealer that I kind of use from Laura Mercier, and it's good. Don't get me wrong, it's good. But I would like something that's a bit more hydrating, because I'm learning that my skin is drier than I think. So if you have normal to ever so slightly oily skin, actually if you have normal skin or maybe slightly dry skin, I think the Laura Mercier would be nice for you, but I need something a little bit more hydrating. So I'll put that on the list. I don't really wear concealer. Concealer is not something that's part of my normal routine. So it's not like a need. I don't constitute this as something that I need to go out of my way to buy. But it's there. Now, I also want these 2 Rare Beauty Luminous Powder Blushes. I love a good blush. Right now, I use the stick from Huda Beauty. Perfect. It's great for my routine. But I would like a shimmery powder put on top after I put, my setting powder on. That's what I want. So I would like that in the shade, what do I have? I have Cheer and Joy. I think if I had to choose between the 2, I would go with Cheer, but I also love a good orange tinted blush. I also want the Rare Beauty Stay Vulnerable Glossy Lip Balm in the shade Nearly Mauve. Lip stuff is kind of a wild card for me. I like 2 lippy stuff right now outside of lip balm, which is the Hourglass lip balm, shimmery, whatever it's called, and then these e.l.f. oils. These e.l.f. oils are great, and they're like $8-10. Amazing price point. Next, we're going into a different level of spending here. The Dyson Airwrap. I want it. I use the Revlon, I think, like, airbrush, the one that's like shaped like a circle brush and it has air coming out of it like a blow dryer. That's the one I'm currently using, and I worry that it's making my hair fall out. So I would like the Dyson Airwrap. I don't know if that's any better. And I do use heat protectant, but if you have a heat protectant style spray that you really love, let me know what it is. Next thing I want is this Honeywell molded fire water large file chest for all of my journals, because you know I keep my journals and I have so many of them, and I live in California and I'm a little bit paranoid about the weather and fires getting to my journals. So here's what I want to do. I want to get this fire waterproof box of some kind, and I want to put each individual journal into a little Ziploc bag. Let me know if you have any preservation tips for that, by the way. Put them in a little Ziploc bag, put them into the fire/waterproof chest, and then leave them there, and then just keep them in there until the end of time, basically. Of course, my plan is, if it ever is like a go time, if it's ever an evacuation situation again, then I can just put those in the back of my car. But here's the thing, sometimes you don't know. Sometimes stuff happens really quick. There's normal fires unrelated to wildfires, and I would just really love if my first thought doesn't have to be like all those years of hard work of putting in to my journals. I mean, the first thing I would think about definitely would be my dogs, but I'd also be like, my journals are too heavy to carry. So they're just gonna perish. It's over. Okay. On a happier note, I also put an Optic scarf on here from Norwex. So listen, I bought the two for kids from the Norwex website because I'm desperate, but I wanted the one of the snow leopard, but it was sold out. I was really bummed about it, and the only one they had in stock was the snake print Optic scarf. I didn't want that. I mean, I would have made it work if that was truly, truly, truly the only option, but it wasn't my preferred. The next thing I want is the BDG Sasha faux leather car jacket from Urban Outfitters. I want it in the blue color in an extra small. I tried this one on in-store because my friend wanted to go into Urban Outfitters because they were having an additional 50% off sale. I didn't even come close to buying anything. You would be so proud of me. But anyways, I tried on this jacket and it wasn't on sale. If it was, I think I would have made an embarrassment of myself, actually. But it wasn't on sale, so I left it behind. $79, very cute. It's on the list. The next two things that are on my list are stuff I did to myself. So those sweatshirts that we talked about last week, I made a couple of sweatshirts, but I would put two on this list for sure. The first one is that bride sweatshirt. I want it. I want that bride pullover. Okay, and there's no it doesn't say bride on it, so even though I got married 2 years ago, it would be perfectly acceptable for me to wear it in this day and age, and I would wear it a bunch, I think. I would be wearing it right now if I owned it. The next thing I would want is the saving is self-care sweatshirt, where it has savings is self-care on my wrist, and then the line art on the front. That's the other one I want. That is the other one I freaking want. And I'm debating how I can acquire those two things. If there's two things on this list that I can acquire, it's probably the sweatshirts. So those are the things that are on my wish list, and I don't think any of these have resulted from scrolling online, although I specifically did look up water fireproof lock boxes, and there's not a huge market for those. I'm surprised. And a lot of them have really bad reviews. How is this possible? I think that industry is maybe going to expand in the next couple of years, just with the way the weather is behaving. I think that it would be prudent for us to really lock in when it comes to water and fireproof file cabinets and, various storage bins. That's my 2 cents. So if you're interested in going to that industry, I think you would be making a great choice. I think we've wrapped up January well enough. My overall earnings for January was pretty crazy. When it comes to earnings and spending, here is my roundup, because I do keep track of that using my budget template. If you're interested in how I use my budgeting template, my last video right before this one is a payday routine video, and that is going through this entire spreadsheet. So scrolling down to my yearly total tracker, my total earned income, I'm gonna factor in the taxes, because I did have to set aside money for taxes specifically for some of the income, not all of it, but my net earned income, so this is after taxes. This is what I get to keep from income, from earnings. $14,216. The amount of money that I paid to taxes outside of my normal paychecks was $2,955. My anticipated costs, so this is bills, how much money I spent on bills in January, $1,632.16. The amount of money I set aside for personal use, so this is food, This is groceries. This is discretionary spending. $1,200. For investments, I put aside $2,942. For savings, I set aside $7,665.40. That's a lot of money for savings. And I think it was $2,500 of that came from my original paychecks. So the rest of that, which is $5,000 and something dollars, came from you guys getting my budgeting templates, getting the full year spending tracker, signing up for Cube Money, essentially just taking my money recommendations and just general money tool recommendations, anything that I've got an affiliate link for. If you use that in December/January, that's because of you. So I really appreciate it, because we're starting off on a really, really good foot for January. Usually I think, again, I mentioned this in my payday video, but when we're entering the new year, a lot of people, we all tend to lean into the personal finance because we're like, boom, this is a great time for a fresh start. So the financial space sees a lot more traffic. A lot more of us are like putting in the effort, trying more tools, downloading more things. So I do expect this to taper off in Q1. Like, I think we're going to see a big drop in February, maybe March, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll remain optimistic. I think a lot of us are getting way more invested in personal finance to begin with, which makes me so pleased. Like, I think that personal finance is a very, very important thing to just start getting on the bandwagon of. It's one of the more healthy hyperfixations we can have. When it comes to credit cards, I put $0 towards credit cards outside of anticipated costs, but I just count that as the same thing because my bills that are reoccurring are being paid on a credit card, and then that credit card is being automatically paid off from the money I've set aside for anticipated costs. For loan payments, I did $404.21, the minimum amount due for my car. And then finally, for ready to save, aka everything else, I set aside $372.50. This was spent on business stuff, so I essentially reinvested this back into my own business, my own creator business. That just came out of the paychecks that I get from my side hustles. So instead of putting all of it towards me, I set aside some to handle like the podcast items, because my best friend and I were starting a podcast, and we are both yappers, and episode 1 is basically ready. I really want to release it tomorrow, but it kind of depends. I need the okay first. I need the okay from my co-host. Thank you to everyone who follows me on Instagram and gave me feedback regarding the intro song. I think we found a happy middle. I think we found some compromises. So I'm really looking forward to you guys hearing the beginning and letting me know if you actually like it or if you think I made a mistake. Now that we've got January wrapped up, let's look to February and make a couple of predictions, because there are things going on in February that I just know are going to cause me some heartache in the money space. Number one thing that comes to mind is my husband is visiting for 2 weeks in Feb, and he's going to be here during my birthday, and we're going to Disney 2 days. And usually for Disney days, I set aside $100 for myself to spend on food and whatnot. And I worry that will not be enough. I worry it won't. Because we order a lot of stuff on the Disney app and my card is connected to the Disney app, my husband and I, we see the money as our money. So whether it's coming from his account or my account, it is our money. It's hard to keep track of them. So I think that his visit could go one of two ways. Either I spend significantly less money than I anticipated because we're putting everything on his bank account, or I'm spending way more money than I expected, and it trips me out because seeing the numbers and reporting on the numbers, the water's gonna get so muddy, and I hate it when the water's muddy. That's why I have so many rules, because I like things to be clear cut for myself. Making my weekly allowance work for the both of us, I don't know how I'm gonna distribute that money. The allowance that I have for myself, the $200 a week, broken up over food, transportation, and discretionary spending, that is great. That is spot on for me. For me as an individual, living my life as an individual. My husband, he lives in a different country, and we're doing the whole immigration thing, but immigration is really, really slow. It would be a bit of a challenge to try and combine things while we're living separately. So what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Aggressively, maybe, severely. We have all different expenses. None of our expenses overlap. End of story. So even though we see it as our money, so you make money means I make money. You save money, that means I save money. You spend money, that means I spend money. Even though we see it like that, It's not really clerically, it doesn't clerically look like that. So I just don't know how the organization is gonna go. I don't even know how to break that up. It's gonna be a learning experience, to say the least. First half of February should be pretty standard. Should be as straightforward as it gets. But second half of February is gonna be, oh my gosh. To end this video, I actually have something very, very fun to share with you. My eyeglass frames are from this company called Kits Eye Care. And Kits Eye Care sent me a couple of eyeglass frames as a reward. Well, okay, they sent it to me for fun. I'm counting it as a reward for my no-buy in January. And I picked out these frames from a couple of frames I got for other people in December. Frames I would have never gotten for myself, but I bought them for other people, tried them on when they came in, obviously, and I was shocked to find out that they actually look really, really good. So now we're going to try them on, this time in my prescription, which is good because some of my friends have really horrible eyes. A really terrible eyesight, and so my eyes were like super magnified when I tried on their glasses, and I actually couldn't really see what I looked like until I watched the footage back. So these first ones, I think these are going to be my Pilates frames. I think I like to wear my glasses in Pilates because I'm looking around. I like to see clearly, and I have these little bungee cords that hold my glasses on for me so that I don't have to constantly be pushing them up on my nose. And I know some people say, well, if they're falling off your face, you need to tighten them, but that'll give me a headache. I don't want to feel like I'm wearing glasses. I want my glasses to be there and for me to be like, oh, I hardly feel any pressure at all, because I will get a headache from it, and I can't tolerate that. I got these for my mom in the color purple, and then I made them clear because I tried on the glasses I got for my friend Zoe, and those were clear, and I really liked them. These are going to be so good for Pilates. Okay, the glare is really not helping me. I don't know how to stop that, but oh my gosh, these eat it up. I'm so excited. These are the Exige frames, E-X-I-G-E. I don't need to spell it out. I'm probably gonna put it on the screen and let you know. Frames 1. Second pair. These ones were my sister-in-law's. Yeah, I'm just plagiarizing everyone's choice. Listen, they got good taste. These ones remind me of Ray-Bans. They're not Ray-Bans. These are called the Demar. The Demar frames. What do we think? I quite like these. I think they look nice. I think they look classic. I think they look very classic. Like if I wasn't going to wear these, or if I wasn't going to wear these, I think I would wear these. I like them both. They've got different vibes. This one's a little bit more librarian maybe. And these are like, I'm a content creator. Now we've got our last frames, and my friend Elena picked these ones out, and low-key she sent me screenshots of her trying them on, because Kits has this feature where you can like try on the glasses frames, and I didn't know what it was, but she was like, oh, I really love these, and I was like, do you? Do you really? And then they came in the mail and I tried them on, and I was like, oh, let me just eat my words really quick. So these I got in the rose gold color, and they're called Lagome. The Lagome frames. Look at how thin these are. It is so thin. It's like nothing. Okay. I quite like these. I thought I wasn't gonna like them. My friend said she wanted them, and I was like, do you really? Those are questionable. And then they came in the mail, I tried them on, and I went, wait, these eat it up. And the one thing that my friend liked about them, which totally sold me, is that she likes to craft. She's a big crafter. She's constantly like making things. And she told me that usually when she's wearing glasses, she takes them off to like look down because the frames get in the way. But because these are frameless, it's not a problem for her. Now I look down and I can see the edge of these glasses, but I 100% understand what she means in terms of like the solid frame getting in the way versus just like kind of the rim of the lens. That wraps up all of the glasses that I got from Kits. And then I do have a discount code to share with you. It is just my name, so it's just Rebecca. And if you use that code, you get 20% off of your order. Thanks for watching this whole video. I will see you at the end of February, but also for the paydays in between. And keep an eye out for the podcast that is coming out with me and my best friend. It is called Life in Quarters.